We love horror movies for their ability to give us that sense of unease with their supernatural stories. But what if the real horror was behind the scenes? On this week's episode of the Into Geek podcast, we're going to be discussing two specific cursed movie sets. After that, Chase and I will go into two stories of our own, mine of which follows a series of nightmares that I had when I was younger, Chase's with a dealing of a phone psychic. And then at the end, we will talk about Lovecraft episode 8, Jig Abbo. So sit down, strap in, and let's get into it. Welcome, boys and girls, to the Into Geek podcast, the first of our mini Halloween episodes. As always, I'm Andrew, joined by Chase.
Man, how many different voices were you just doing?
Just one. What a scream. On today's episode, is our first of our Halloween stuff. We are doing cursed movie productions. We're then going to do a little bit of, we're going to tell some, well, at least mine's kind of like a scary story. Yours is just like a weird story.
Yes.
And then we're going to get into episode 8 of Lovecraft, which was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It was definitely back pedal to the metal. So
They got back to horror.
yes, and so much stuff happened. It was super awesome. So for our cursed movie productions, do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll go first. Mine's not as long as yours, so I'll go ahead and go. My cursed movie is a movie called A Tuck. The movie was never made. It was so cursed. A Tuck, it was a novel in 1963 called The Incomparable A Tuck. And they decided, hey, we're going to turn this into a movie. Especially in the 80s, they really liked those fish out of water stories, and this was what it was. It was a movie about an Eskimo Inuit documentarian goes to Alaska. He's very interested in stuff, sneaks aboard their plane when they leave, and comes to New York. So it's pretty much an Inuit Eskimo in New York. Fish out of water story. The screenwriter wrote it for John Belushi. And literally like 3 months later, John Belushi died. So a couple of years go by, and they were like, hey, we want to try making this again. We're going to use Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison signs on, works on the film for about 8 days. And he's like having just problems with like the script and everything, doesn't want to do it and stuff. So they just like stop filming, like close production, and the movie stopped again. A couple of years later, Sam Kinison dies, which actually, like the way he acted on the film too, like really hurt his kind of, I guess, movie career, because after that he only did 2 episodes of like Married with Children. And that was about it. But he was more of a comedian. So a couple years later, another actor gets the role, John Candy, and it's 1994, and his friend Michael O'Donoghue gives him the script. He likes it, and within like less than a year, he dies. In fact, they said like it's possible he was even rereading the script when he had his heart attack and died.
Crazy.
Yeah. So right after that, the guy who gave him the script, Michael O'Donoghue, had migraines, and he died. So years went by after this, about 4 or 5 years, and Chris Farley, big fan of John Belushi, knew he was signed on for the film before he died. He wants to do it. Wants to get his friend, Saturday Night Live partner, Phil Hartman, to be the villain in the movie.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Well, 3 months later after signing on, he dies, Chris Farley. And then, of course, a couple years later, Phil Hartman's wife murders him.
Yes.
So after that, the studio locked this movie up in a vault and was like, they say like we don't believe in curses, but like no one has the script anymore. No one knows where the script is. It's gone, and like the movie's cursed. Like or at least like I mean, being able to make like I don't think they could find an actor like a. Be like, hey, we want you to do this movie.
Oh no!
My mustache. My mustache.
For those watching, Chase's mustache just flew off. And for people those listening, people wondering why Chase is wearing a mustache. It's Halloween, so we thought that we would wear costumes. I thought I had a closet full of old Halloween costumes. I don't know what the fuck happened to him. So I'm literally wearing a mask. I look like a Captain Asshole because Chase went full out. And so he's dressed as Paul Blart. In actuality, years ago, he wore the same costume just as a cop. and everybody thought he was Paul Blart Mall Cop. So
it
now
really hurt my feelings.
So now he is just completely leaned into it.
I've leaned into it now.
He does look a little bit like Kevin James to some degree, and in this costume, he really looks like it.
Yeah.
Getting back to this, I felt that as if I had to address this because I didn't.
My
I didn't fucking
mustache
do it.
just shot off.
Do you think that? Okay, have you written down how like everybody died?
Yes. Now they all died in different ways. John Belushi was overdose.
Yeah. So it was Chris Farley though, right?
Chris Farley was
Yeah.
it too. Sam Kinison actually died in a car accident.
Okay.
A car hit him, and he actually got out of the car.
Oh, shit.
And walked around, and kept saying they reported people
He
heard
kept
him.
saying, "A took."
I wonder if he was screaming. He's like,
Yeah.
that's what he did.
These are my jokes.
No, he. Was it, say it!
Yeah.
Say it! And like I said, someone's like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And then he was like, okay, I'll go. Like, you hear him saying, I'll
Weird.
go. I'm ready to go.
All right.
So, I don't know if he was pretty much dead and he saw the Atuck ghost or something. I don't know. And then John Candy had a heart attack. Michael Donahue had migraines and had a brain hemorrhage.
All right.
And Chris Farley, again, overdose. And Phil Hartman was murdered by his wife.
His wife, yeah. You know what maybe happened? Maybe the ghost of cultural appropriation came after all of them.
True.
For trying to come and use their culture as a way to you make this quick money or whatever.
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, the movie, who knows if it would have been any good. I mean, it really is like an Eskimo Ghost in New York. It sounds like it was the Crocodile Dundee script before it was Crocodile Dundee.
Let it go, man.
Yeah.
Just let it go. Maybe, yeah, or Coming to America.
Yeah.
Before that.
I mean, the 80s were really big on fish out of water.
They loved it. Oh my God, we can do so many stories for this. From Germany, from England. Yeah, that's crazy because you had mentioned it, and I never heard of it or whatever.
Yeah.
But because it was a book apparently first.
Yeah, it was a book called The Incomparable Atuck.
Yeah. And that's nuts that all those people died from that or whatever. And it's more nuts that it would have been more cool if everybody died of an overdose. They all couldn't take this pressure.
People there's a thing, there's a song, I can't remember the song, but they said if you listen to it, you will commit suicide. And there's these recordings of people who've listened to it and they committed suicide.
I think that was Hanson's Mbop.
No, it might have been. But it's some kind of spirit thing when it's attached to something, and they think it's possible this kind of spirit thing was attached to the script.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And so it's
weird.
I mean, it's very weird. I mean,
Yeah, it's weird because it's not like this ominous movie or anything.
No. I mean,
it was just a comedy that people just started just dying from or whatever. My selection is a ominous horror movie. In 1982, a film involved with murder, untimely deaths, and exorcism would rock the movie world to its core and leave a mark for over 30 years. Poltergeist scored well with critics and fans alike, as it raked in over $120 million and 3 Oscar nominations on its way to becoming a horror classic. Unfortunately, its legacy has been marred by a dark curse, which might be more popular than the actual film. The curse has been linked to the fact that on the set they used real skeletons in the iconic pool scene. Months after the release of the first film, Dominique Dunn was murdered by her ex-boyfriend, strangled in her own driveway. She would die days later on life support. Dominique would be the first victim of the curse, but not the last. What's also crazy about this is while she was fighting with her ex, because they had broken up and he came over, she didn't want to let him in the house, and he ended up fucking breaking in. Her neighbor heard them arguing, called the cops, and she's on the call. I'm sorry, it's a guy, and the operator's like, hey, if you were a man, you would go help her out. And the guy was like, I'm good, and just stayed in his house. So if he had maybe intervened, she probably doesn't die. But instead, she escaped out of the house, and he got to her at the driveway, and then he strangled her. And then the cops showed up. She went into I guess a coma of sorts or whatever. Went to the hospital on life support, and then ended up dying. Concerned about the use of real skeletons on the first film, Native American actor and star of the second film, Will Sampson, performed an exorcism on the set, to which actors said that they felt a great deal of relief on the next day. However, 2 actors would later die to seemingly natural causes. Julian Beck and Will Sampson, the same actor who performed the exorcism. It's noted that Julian Beck had a form of cancer before actually joining the cast of the second movie. So that one's a little, okay. Yeah. The second one, they say that like he died of I think cancer as well, but his wasn't known.
Okay.
So it kind of came a little bit of whatever a little bit later. Before the release of the third film, the franchise's lead actress, Heather O'Rourke, suddenly died at the young age of 12. Heather died of cardiac arrest as her body went into septic shock by a misdiagnosed intestinal issue.
Which character did she play?
She was a little girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she was in the first 2 films. She wasn't feeling too well. She went to the doctor and stuff, whatever, and was misdiagnosed. Ended up dying.
But she's in the third one, isn't she?
She is, but not in the last, I think, like 10 minutes of the film. I think that they
had a rewrite?
Well, she died, I think it was like a little bit before it was actually released.
Okay, the third one, if I'm correct, isn't that like pretty much like Poltergeist Takes Manhattan?
Yeah, I believe that they're in like a hotel and stuff, and there's another pool scene and everything, whatever. I think when at the end, when they're in the parking garage and towards the like climactic ending, I think that she had already died, and so there was like these like reshoots, I believe at least or whatever. Cool. In 1992, Richard Lawson's plane crash into Flushing Bay, 27 of the 51 passengers died. So this is like another actor that years later almost died in this crash. In 2009, Lou Perryman was brutally murdered during a home invasion by a released convict. This guy broke into his house and basically murdered him, whatever. So they have like some interviews here and there. The guy that did the horror effects has kind of been, I don't say blackballed, but he was definitely marked for using real skeletons. And he claims, well, in the past they've used other skeletons in other places and stuff or whatever. So he's kind of thought that it's gross to blame the film for the death of these characters, these actors and stuff, whatever. And so for a long time, he wouldn't talk to anybody about it because he felt that they were using it as like like.
You think they were trying to promote it, like promoting the movie?
Ooh, I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's. I know that when the new one came out in 2015, there was a lot of buzz about that, and them like drumming up things about the old. I think that in the new movie that they used the poltergeist curse as a way to sell it and to kind of get more like people like in the seat and everything or whatever. It didn't work. It was not very good.
Who did the first one? Spielberg or?
Okay, so in the first one, it was directed technically by like Tobe Hooper, who also did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Mm-hmm. But it was people think that it was more Spielberg. So at the time, Spielberg was coming off of doing Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He was contractually obligated to finish E.T. before he was allowed to do anything else. But he had this idea to do a sequel of Close Encounters. He got to Hooper and was talking to him about it. And Hooper's like, and originally it was about aliens. And like it was like, I like this, but I'd rather turn it into like this like haunted ghost story or whatever instead. So you can definitely tell watching the film that there's some very Spielbergian style here and there, and then there's some more horror stuff that is more like Hooper-esque or whatever. Like the scene where the guy's in the mirror and he starts to like claw his face away, and there's like skeletons and stuff like that's like obviously Hooper or whatever. But the lightheartedness here and there with kids and stuff is obviously love like Spielberg or whatever.
Hold on, Spielberg and kids?
I know,
no
right? Way. So I mean, like this one, I think is more notorious because like so many people died. But there's a lot of also the girl that plays the psychic died as well. But she died at the age of 70, and so
she's died. She was
old. I mean hers was like natural causes and stuff. So I mean like at some point there's deaths. So that's just because people just die and stuff. So I don't know if this was cursed. It's very maybe coincidental. I think that the one actress being like murdered and stuff is crazy as shit.
The main actress, yeah, like
also dying is crazy.
Carol.
Who, the girl?
Yeah, the girl.
Carol
Ann or
no, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay,
Carol Ann, don't go to the light. Yeah. So I mean, because like what's funny is that because I watched this last night. I was in because I'm getting ready to. That's going to be in my like my 31 Days of Horror series as well, and so I want to get like this refresher in my mind of it and everything. I was also trying to find Lost Boys, which is also on my list.
Oh, it's a great movie.
You guys can check that out. It'll be out as soon this month.
What number?
Yes. Oh, well, hey, I have to watch to find out. Yeah. So. But it's funny is that I watched it. I was like, man, she's not a bad actress, actually. I mean, mostly kids. I fucking hate kids in movies or whatever because they're terrible actors. And I was like, she's actually not that bad. So I wondered, like, maybe she would have been like the other like Drew Barrymore or something, or whatever, because like she was in like Firestarter, right? As a kid first, I believe.
Yeah, Drew.
Yeah. Well, it was E.T. and then Firestarter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
She was in E.T. first.
Yeah, I think E.T. It was like her first thing. So who knows if maybe like Heather O'Rourke is another like Barrymore or whatever or something.
Oh, which one? Like we were talking today, me and my wife and Letty from Lovecraft Country. She was a child actress.
Oh, okay. And what?
In Full House, she was like one of Michelle's best friend.
Okay, so like they
she was in like a number of episodes. It wasn't like she was just one of her. Like she had, I think, speaking roles.
I think they did that to like up their views. Like, hey, we're not racist. Everybody's not white in our fucking neighborhood. I swear to God.
And then like we actually today watching Grey's Anatomy, as good as that show is, there was an episode where the actress she was in an episode or 2 episodes of Grey's Anatomy, and she was probably
Jerry Smollett? Is that,
yeah,
okay.
And she was probably, I don't know, she's pretty young in that. She plays like a 18, 19-year-old,
Okay.
but like you could tell from her acting then. This lady,
she's not that old now. I mean, like she's like maybe 30,
she's
maybe.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, if that. I mean, like
she's younger than me. So
most of us are.
Aww.
So, did you have any more comments about your Took?
I want the movie to be made. I want Michael Cera to play in it,
just
so he dies because I hate Michael Cera.
What's funny is that I saw that when like you had mentioned it, I went and I looked some stuff up, and here recently actually that they had talked to like Jack Black, Will Ferrell about maybe like into them like doing something for it or whatever.
I don't think Will Ferrell do it because like when I was reading about the plot and stuff, to me it really just sounded like Elf.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, I was like, well, you said Will Ferrell. I was like,
it's the same movie.
Yeah, it's really. They were like, hey, okay, I had to break the curse. Let's Christmasize this.
Nice. Okay. So moving on from our cursed movie productions, tell your funny
supernatural story
or whatever.
Okay, it's
and then I will tell an actual scary story.
Okay, my story is not scary at all, but when I was in high school,
really extended.
I'll try. When I was in high school, I called a psychic. I was watching, USA all night.
Was it Miss Cleo?
It was not Miss Cleo.
Call me now.
I tell your future. I decided to call, and so like right away, I was like, okay, this is a scam because what the person was doing was like, okay, I need your name, and this is also about 97, 98-ish. It was. Yeah, around 97, 98. So there was no like Facebook or anything. Like, she couldn't just like look me up and find answers. But she was like, okay, what's your name? And I'm like, Chase. And they're like, okay, spell that. And I'm like, Chase. And they're like, okay, that is Chese. And I'm like, you're supposed to be like, no, it's this. And you're trying to correct them and they're keeping you on the line. I figured that out real quickly. So like, I'm just like, yeah. They're like, okay, and you are calling us from, and they like, she would repeat the number with like a number off. I'm like, yep, that's the number I'm calling you from. Like, I'm just, whatever I'm like, yep, I'm going to spin through it. And she goes, so she starts talking and she goes, you sound kind of young. You're in high school, like, which is obvious. So like, yeah. And she goes, this is the part that was a little weird. She goes, Chase, you sound like a nice guy. I'm sure you have a girlfriend. Her name starts with an E. Tell me her name. And I was actually dating this girl named Erin at the time, spelled Erin. And I was like, kind of surprised, a little shocked by that. I was like, okay. And then she told me, she goes, but you're dating Erin, but you really like a girl whose name starts with an N. What is her name? And I was dating a girl named Erin, but I really was into a girl named Nancy Kate, and I wanted to date her. And
the plot thickens.
And at that point, I was kind of freaked out. Plus, I like gave him my mom's credit card number or whatever like that. So I was like, I got to get off this phone quickly. So I ended up getting off the phone. And that's like my little weird supernatural. I mean,
What's crazier is that Aaron would die 7 days later. This is the start of the ring.
yes. I mean, like usually I don't have supernatural stuff. I have weird story about animals doing
It's
stuff.
so weird because when we're
not
talking about this,
supernatural.
you're like, I don't, nothing's already happened. And it's so weird because like most people that I talk to swear that like something has happened to them, and you're like, no, I've had a pretty normal life, you know. Things have been great for me.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Okay, so
now I need you to freak me out. Let's see some. I want to hear some good stuff.
So when I was younger, I had this reoccurring nightmare where I felt as though I was being haunted. And I don't talk about it now because out of fear that I will mentally bring it back up and cause the nightmares to actually come back. So as far back as I can remember, I think I was like 8 years old. I was living in Oklahoma in like this little small like trailer. And I was in bed and I heard my mom talking. And so how my room was, there was my bed, my sister's bed, and then the door. And so I went around my sister's room. I came into like this, little small living room, and I could see my mother arguing with this dark figure. And before I could do anything, the figure like was like quickly on me, and I felt myself picked up and forced into the like room's corner, and I could just started screaming and freaking out, and I woke to my sister waking me up. And it was like the first time that like, because I could feel it. I could feel the hands on me. I could feel myself being pressed in like the ceiling, it was like terrifying at the time. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy shit. 2 years later, we moved back to here. We're like now in Memphis. We're staying with my grandmother at this point. So it's a 4-bedroom house, and it's an old house. So there's like a kitchen, dining room, or like a kitchen eating area. There's a dining room. There's a sitting room, living room, and then there's 2 bedrooms downstairs, and then upstairs there's like two like other rooms, right? So my mom is staying in the upstairs room. My aunt is up here, and then my grandparents didn't stay like the same bed because old people like to sleep.
Yeah, my grandparents said the same.
So me and my sister are sleeping in the sitting room. So there's like a mattress in there and stuff or whatever. And I remember falling asleep, and I start to hear something coming from the living room, and the light comes on. So I get up to go check it out, and I walk into the room, and I can hear murmuring, but there's nobody in the room. And I look to the corner where my grandfather has sat for years or whatever in this area, and the same dark shape is sitting in there. And so, remembering what happened last time, I turn and I begin to run, trying to go up the stairs to where my mom is staying. And as I turn to go up the stairs, I get a couple up, and I feel something grab my foot and yank me down the stairs. And I can feel like my face on the carpet. I can feel myself trying to like grasp or whatever. And I wake up in the room in the darkness or whatever, and I'm like this like cold sweat. And I didn't have any other dreams for a little bit. 5 years later, we move into this like new house. And from where my room is, there's a hallway here, my mom's room, my sister's room, and there is our living room here, right? And like I have a friend over at the house and everything, and it's pitch dark in my room. I'm asleep, and I can hear something in the hallway talking outside of my door, and I can hear my friend who's on the floor. He's there like hanging out. And I'm looking down, and it's just darkness on the floor. I can't really see anything, and I'm calling his name, and then I begin to like feel my heart racing, and I wake up, and it's that moment where you think like, oh my God, that was a crazy dream. Oh my God, it felt as if I woke myself up. As I'm thinking this, the door, I begin to hear these heavy footsteps because the floors were all wooden, and I can feel them coming, and then all of a sudden, as I look at the door, it's not there anymore. There's just this darkness, and as I'm sitting on my bed, the dark figure leaps from the doorway, lands on my bed. I feel it hit my bed, and it begins to choke me. And I can't breathe. It's super violent. I'm hitting my mom's wall, trying to scream. And at some point, my friend hears me on my bed thrashing and wakes me up. The next day, I couldn't talk. It was as if I literally been strangled in my sleep. So for like 2 days, I couldn't even go to school because like it was like as if I had like a heavy case of like strep throat or whatever. But my mom swears that nobody heard me beating on the wall and everything, and my friend doesn't remember like waking me up. It's it stuck with me for a very, very long time. Thankfully, I haven't had these fucking dreams since then or whatever. But for a long time, I thought that I didn't.
Don't choke your wife, man.
Yeah, shit. I didn't know if maybe like I was being haunted by something or whatever, and it was just coming to me like in these like dreams or whatever, or if it was like maybe just my like overactive like imagination. I don't know, but it was definitely crazy.
When you first started telling the story, I thought like it was like the story of Harry Potter. Like there's this dark figure by your mom, and then it flies at you.
Yes.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a Southern wizard who didn't go to school. And yeah,
there's no Hogwarts in Memphis,
right?
Okay.
It's
a shame.
Hogwarts. All right, guys, so we're gonna move on from my nightmares that are gonna cause nightmares later. To Lovecraft Episode 8, Jig Abbo, which I thought was
Jig Abbo.
What? I don't know. And there's so much to talk about. Like it was an hour long, but I felt like it was like 2 hours long. Where do you want to start?
The beginning.
Okay, so at the funeral?
Yeah. It kind of like almost picks up like the episode in the middle of something. Like almost, it feels like almost the middle of an episode. Like you've missed stuff, and as the episode kind of goes on, stuff starts getting information starts coming out.
Yeah.
So, but like you're a little lost, I think, once the episode starts.
I mean, I think that's the point, though.
Yeah,
well.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's a good way of doing a storytelling for this episode.
So basically, there's one of these friends.
Yeah.
Was brutally murdered. And the neighborhood has come together, and there's this real tension building. That they're tired of shit like this happening.
It was a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, and apparently he was so disfigured that Rose calls him, or sorry, not Rose, Ruby mentions him looking almost like a monster in his casket and everything. And then Dee gets to a point where she can't even go, and so she's like missing, and then everybody else is like trying to like go places I can find her and stuff or whatever. To where she gets picked up by Captain Lancaster, who we know. I guess he's
the sheriff, local sheriff.
I guess that his sheriff's department got the comic book, and then that they know the name Freeman somehow. I don't know. It doesn't explain.
The name Freeman's on the comic book.
It is, but it's just.
But the comic book was like in St. Louis.
I know.
or outside. No,
it was like Mayfield.
Yeah, Mayfield.
Yeah.
And they could somehow trace it back to Chicago.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I mean, like they don't explain it, but it's kind of cool because this is the first time that we see him do magic.
Yeah.
His little like deputy actually starts to like write these little like
symbols
next to her and stuff. He spits on her, and then he does some like dark magic, and then Dee begins to be hunted by these like ghoulish girls, or whatever and stuff. But they don't become ghoulish girls until she goes home. She goes into her room, turns on the radio, and she sees the cover of the like Uncle Tom book. And then the radio begins to say like, let me in, over and over again and stuff. And then the picture of the book like changes, and all of a sudden the girl is this like ghastly figure, and she has these like long nails in her hair and stuff. What was really cool, just from a casting, style, whatever side, when she sees the girls for the first time in the subway area.
It's like train
or something. The like I don't know what it's called in like Chicago, but the little rail.
Monorail.
Yeah, I mean, I think
monorail.
I think it has an actual name. But when I saw them, I was like, I like that they hired dancers.
Yeah.
Because they were able to like creepily bring a lot of emotion into what's going on, and so like they didn't have to speak at all. You could just see like their expression of dance.
I'm just scared that's going to be like the new Halloween costume this year. We'll be walking down the street, there'll be two girls dancing, and that's going to freak me out.
Yeah, so that was a good form of horror because last episode I was saying I was like fucking bring on the horror, man.
Yeah.
Let's go, and so thankfully this episode ramped it back up. We also got more scenes with Ruby and Christina, and they have sex, but
not as Ruby and Christina.
Yeah, they do it as William and I think her name was Dee, the like old
Deanna or something like that, or
something like that. They have sex. While they're having sex, Ruby begins to like bust out of the fake skin, and it's fucking cool, man. Like
that's a hell of an orgasm.
Yeah,
right there.
it looked really really good. I mean, like it looked visceral and just gory. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. And then you get like a really powerful monologue from her, which I had to write down her name. Wonmi Musaku, maybe. Momosaku. I'm sure I'm brutally reading her name, but she has a really great monologue, just talking about the kid dying and stuff, and how she's tired, and it's really fucking powerful. It was great. And then immediately Christina just calls her on her fucking bullshit, being like, no, you're not mad about that shit. Come on now. So I thought that was really great.
Then it goes back to Atticus going to the house.
No. He goes to see Christina first, right? He meets her in the graveyard.
Yeah.
He trades the key. He gets the spell. Then he goes back, and then we see that his old girl from Korea, his nine-tailed lover, is back or whatever, and he tells her to just like fuck off.
Oh, she's a succubus, man. You got to tell succubuses to fuck off. If they don't, they'll just come around all the time.
Yeah, and then Letty gets mad at him, and then immediately after she like tells him to leave, he's like, "Fuck it, I'm leaving." She's like, "Where are you going?" Like, what the fuck? That was one of the most real things. Like, you're supposed to stay and fight, man. Like, and so basically, Tick decides that he's gonna, cast a spell and everything or whatever. And then he goes and he finds his dad.
All right, there was a little information. The succubus lady, she admits to Tick that she did not see his death, which I thought in a way maybe foreshadowing because they've been talking about immortality. So it's possible. I'm thinking maybe Tick gets at some point.
Maybe.
That's why, that's what she does. Like, once a guy orgasms, she kills him and sees his life.
Yeah.
Usually it ends about 5 seconds after the orgasm, but with Tick it didn't. And she usually, that's, so I'm thinking in a way he might become immortal. Especially with the new spell, that's also what I was thinking was going to happen.
You say that, but when he goes to reconvene with his father, we get a scene of him and Montrose, and it felt as if Tick had come to terms with it at that point, and just accepted his dad for who he was. But like Montrose has a really great monologue. From Michael K. Williams fucking kills it, talking about it being gay and stuff or whatever. And I thought that like all that was great. So I mean I feel like him, Journey Smollett had really great moments in this or whatever. So I mean just in general was like a really powerful episode for acting and for effects and for it ramped up everything again. It was fucking great. They go in the house and he shows his dad that there's a book called the Lovecraft Country. Yeah. And it's written by his son. And that's how he knows that Letty is pregnant and stuff, whatever, even though she hasn't told him yet. So we find out because we were wondering if he also went in the portal, and we find out that he did go in the portal, but not for as long.
Yeah. He got pushed back by
I'm assuming it's the exact same person. So maybe
I thought didn't it say it had a robot arm or
yeah, but I mean her body looks robotic and stuff. Whatever it's like a purple and black like robotic.
I just
armor.
didn't think it was when Hippolyta went I thought she went way into the future, which I can't tell. It might be Tick went 30 years into the future.
I don't know,
and that's why his son and his book and stuff, or I don't know, who knows, but.
I don't know because
I mean, I guess he didn't meet his son. He just got a book that his son did, so it could be.
and his only thing was that like he says that like there was white people rioting and stuff. So maybe and then we saw and then the episode upcoming, there's riots going on. So maybe like he literally just went like a few days or whatever or something, right?
I mean, it couldn't be a few days because they couldn't have the book.
It's magic. Who fucking knows, man? I mean, like
Who fucking knows. I was just thinking like what the white people were rioting. I'm like, he just like showed up in the '80s at like a Guns N' Roses concert. He's like, white people are going nuts out here. It's like, here's a book. Right back.
Axl Rose is a dick.
Yeah.
So then we get a scene where Montrose and Tig try to cast a spell, and they go through all the motions, and it seems as though like
they don't think it works.
Yeah, they're like, fuck, all right. But the spell was for protection, and she said like using blood is the best way, but also chalk, and so Tig uses blood, which I think is later on as well. Like it's so successful. And we get Dee is like riding around on this bicycle trying to like
all over town.
Yeah, so basically these girls are chasing her everywhere. And Dee sees that her mom's car is hidden at Letty's.
Yep.
And so now she knows fucking bullshit is going on.
And she knows everyone's lying to her.
Yeah, and then she goes because the cops are the only people that she knows they know something's going on. Because they cast magic on her.
I mean, they told her about magic.
Well, kind of.
I mean, they said something like, "What do you know about magic?"
Yeah,
and stuff.
and
then
she
now
said,
she's seeing two magic girls.
So she goes and like from breaks in to the little thing or whatever, and she tells the fucking cop to go fuck himself and stuff, and tells the other one that her mom's name was Greek, and shit, and everything.
It's great.
And then she leaves, hoping that she can trap these girls in like a. That's what we're looking for. When they come down like one, it's like a war move, where you force them down like one like small like area,
like what they did in 300.
Yes, what the hell's that called?
I have no clue.
Oh no, I feel dumb. Yeah, so she's trying to like lead them into doing like to go in like one entrance or whatever.
Yes.
And then so she starts fighting the girls, and the Montrose comes in. He thinks he's helping. He holds her back, and she starts getting fucking clawed up and shit.
She does though draw them, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
So she's like, just in case, hey, if I don't make it, here's some drawings and stuff that like, hey, these two little freaky girls are after me, whatever.
Yes, but we see that a bottleneck. Thank you, Allison. Yes, yeah. So she's trying to bottleneck them into coming in like one like area or whatever. It looks as though she loses.
Yeah.
And she gets fucking possessed. that shit's gonna be crazy. We hear the term autumnal I can't talk. Autumnal equinox.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, and the first time that Tick says it to Christina, her eyes are like, uh-oh, this motherfucker knows something or whatever. Yeah, so he's clearly already read the book, which is how he knows a couple of things going forward or whatever. And maybe he's thinking that knowledge will help him navigate maybe or something. Yeah. But
I mean, at least it sets a date like, hey, this is the day stuff's supposed to go down.
Yeah.
We need to prepare. So
yeah, but I mean, like, as we've learned, like, I
mean, you do find
what happens is it happens. Yeah. Like, you can't stop it or whatever, just like it's always going to be.
Your past you can only change your future. You can't change your past.
Yeah. So we got some really cool sex. Tick trades for a spell. Jihad's back. Ruby monologue. Montrose.
And a big finale.
Yeah. So Lancaster is mad at Dee. He's like fuck it.
He wants the whatchamacallit?
The Ori.
Yeah, the Ori.
The Ori, because he thinks that has a key. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We're gonna get to it.
I was gonna get to it. So basically, he then forms his like magic cops to all go with him to the house, and they go there with this like fake warrant and stuff or whatever. And but a little bit before that, Ruby lets Letty know that she knows fucking magic as well and what's going on and stuff. And so, and it shows that like Ruby's been she's drinking that fucking Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so she's thinking that Christina has her best interest for her and stuff, and she probably doesn't, because I think
I mean, she might. It's like she's like, I'm gonna get what I want. You've been good to me. I'll take care of you. It could be.
I mean, like she admits to not caring about that kid dying and other people dying and shit. She's just like, I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. I like she clearly just wants to become,
But you can see like she has a bond with women. Like she knows like
Yes.
she's been objectified because she's a woman, and I think that's why she's drawn to Ruby and stuff. And she's like, hey, you're being objectified for being black and a woman. That like I think she respects Ruby. At least that's where I'm going with it.
maybe. I mean, like she also
They keep boning, so I mean,
it's just good, man. Also, when Letty calls Christina into the church and she wants to trade the spells for a spell of invulnerability on Tick, and she says no, and then she starts to walk away, but offers it to her. I think that she did that so that she could kill Tick later.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think she needs Tick's blood of some sort.
Yeah, and so if the spell's on him, then she can't fucking
can't do it.
You can't, yeah. So then fast forward back to the end or whatever. The cops try to come in the house, and that ward is still up, and then the cops like, fuck, that they know. What I know that they know that like we don't know.
You don't know that we know. I know
you
you know.
And at that moment, the cops just open fire. They're firing bullets in and stuff. And Letty is like, at some point, is like, no, I'm fine, and gets up, and the bullets are like bouncing off her and stuff.
Oh, very Neo-like.
Very, very cool. And then Tick is up the street. He hears the shooting. He runs up, and the cops turn to him, and they start yelling at him. And Letty tries to run out of the house to become like a shield for him, but she's too late as the cops begin to shoot. And then before the bullet can get to him, I think they're called like Shoggoths. One of them leaps out of the street, man. So his spell protection called forth a creature to actually physically protect him or whatever, and it goes fucking ham. It begins to just tear off people's like limbs and it's eating and stuff, whatever. At one point, it puts a guy through like a car or whatever, and like its blade goes through his mouth or whatever.
That was a great scene.
It was really cool, and then it shows like he attacked Lancaster, tears his arm off and stuff or whatever, and then there's this scene of it shows Letty and Tick, and then in the background the Lancaster's body gets thrown against the house.
That was awesome.
And then this creature like runs it at Tick, and it stops, and then Tick realizes that like it's his new dog basically or whatever. So that's gonna be really fun. I'm excited.
That could be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to see like a really cool epic
Tick
battle.
rides him.
It's like fucking Chris Pratt in like Jurassic World. He's riding on his motorcycle with
they
it.
need that scene. I want that scene of him holding the hands.
Blue.
Yeah. Click, click.
Yeah, so we then get basically next episode. I think Montrose is going to sacrifice himself. Is what it's looking like.
Yeah.
They're trying to once again bargain with Christina, which it was I don't get, because Letty was already like, hey, you can't trust that chick.
Well, she also did something in this episode where she went through what the boy did.
Yes, which is weird.
Yeah, like, I don't know if she was testing her invulnerability or...
Yeah, so at first I was thinking, because, like, Ruby kind of yells at her, and she's like, I want you to feel what I'm feeling, which is, like, anger and being scared and being, so I wonder if she was, like, wanting to feel what the kid felt, so that, like, she could understand Ruby more, maybe. I don't know. I mean, because it didn't really talk about it or whatever.
Like, she pays these guys pretty much to kill her.
I know, and it's so funny. So they beat the crap out of her, shoot her, throw in the river, right? And then she immediately gets back out, and nobody's saying, like, what the fuck?
Like, I thought that too. I was like, that was a little quick. Like, let her just, like, let them walk away or something.
I know,
like,
yeah.
They got to be still at the edge of the pier.
She was like, hey guys, you want to try again? Yeah. So that was weird. It was strange. So, but yeah, like I said, like in the next episode, it's showing that they're doing almost like an exorcism.
Yeah.
Trying to get these demons out of D. There looks to be a riot going on, and it looks as if Montrose is reactivated
The portal,
and I think he's gonna like sacrifice himself to go in like and get like Hippolyta or something.
I mean, I hope so. I like Hippolyta. I want her to come back. I don't know where she is.
I don't know.
Future.
in the cosmos somewhere.
Yeah.
Crazy, but it was definitely a great episode.
It was good. I'm glad they brought the horror back.
It's probably one of my favorites so far of the year. And I hope that it just gets better from
Yeah,
here.
we only got 2 episodes left.
2 episodes
Now,
left.
if they follow, it's HBO, so if they follow like the Game of Thrones format where
9's gonna be crazy.
9's just super crazy, and
Yeah.
then 10 will
Unless
settle
it's
things.
just one season, in which case 10 will be
Yeah.
nuts.
I don't think it's going to be just one season.
Well, I mean, like it's only one book, and like Watchmen
really?
was, I mean, like 9 episodes, whatever. And stuff,
I think
so-
Watchmen, though, had a lot more famous people and where they weren't going to.
Did it?
I mean, what's her name won an Academy Award, didn't she?
I mean, fucking Don Johnson's fucking big.
Oh, he is, man. He does Tarantino movies, man.
Don Johnson.
He's what was he? The Candyman or whatever?
Was he in Candyman?
No, not Candyman. In Django.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
He was I don't know. Was he Candyman or he was the other guy?
He was the other guy.
Okay.
Like Candyland is
It's Leonardo,
DiCaprio. No,
yeah.
no. Hold on. Fuck, I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
We got off track.
I will put it in here on the video so that like everybody who's thinking that we'll just know. So guys, thank you for joining us for our first episode.
What do we got going next week?
Next week we're going to be doing a horror movie villain battle royale. We're going to be in like a 16 like team, but like like a bracket, and Chase and I we're going to argue points until we get to who we believe is the coolest or the most powerful evil
Of
villain.
the horror movies now.
Of horror movies.
Yeah,
So,
like Darth Vader's not going to be in
No,
it.
no.
Nah.
So expect like Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger.
We'll get a good Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, right. How dare you, Robert Englund? So, but it won't just be based on who can win in a fight. It'll be based on movie franchise, actor,
Iconic, all that
everything.
stuff.
Yeah, and so there's like who overall is the
And really, it's just going to come down who we like better.
probably. But Allison maybe can help, like
Yeah,
point
you'll
us
be
one or the other.
tiebreaker.
Who she probably hasn't seen half the movies, but be like fucking pumpkin.
But see, we can. That's the point. Is our points will.
Yeah, she's like, I think Dracula's better. I don't know if I know. Yeah. So
the Liam Neeson Liam Neeson Dracula.
Liam Neeson Dracula.
Dracula dead and loving it.
Oh, nice. That's Leslie Nielsen.
No, oh yeah.
Not Liam Mason.
He could be Dracula. He'd be like,
Well, I'm Dracula. I have some skills.
I have some skills. I will find you.
I'm gonna bite you. I'll find you. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. Come back next week for the return of Halloween part 2.
We'll have new costumes too.
Yes, I'll have an actual costume. I promise to come correct next week. This one sucks. I'm sorry.
I'm going as a UPS driver. I'm just going to go Kevin James every week. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
That sounds great. If you don't now, I'm gonna be really
Yeah.
upset. Actually.
I don't know where to get a UPS.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Join us next week.
See ya.